Hello and welcome to all of you astrology lovers. This is the video for the new moon in Libra that is going to occur around and about the 25th of September. It depends a little bit where you're living, but it's around that time that we're going to have a moon together with the sun in Libra at 2 degrees. So every time around, around this time, we have a new moon in Libra, and this video is about what is the energy, what does it mean, and in general, but also typically for the 12 signs. And in general, of course, a new moon occurs every month, once a month, normally once a month, and it's about a new beginning. It's about an ending and a new beginning. It's about the seeds that we plant so that we can create something. That is a new moon. And of course, there's no new beginning without an ending. So some of us might see, depending on our chart, that it's like more of an ending, and others will see it's like a little bit more of a new beginning. But Libra also represents relationships. So this is a lot about some new starts, some new buildings up that consider relationships, basically. So all in all, it's Libra is a sign that wants fairness, that wants égalité. I can't really translate that now. I'm not really sure. Is that equality? Probably. So it wants fairness, it wants lightness, and it wants relationships to go smoothly. So we all have, depending on where this Libra is in our chart, an opportunity for that. So that's the biggest deal. Now we also have to look at what's happening with the rest of the planets. Is there something that is a theme, not only during this time? I'm recording this on Monday on the 19th, so it's a bit just a couple of days before the new moon. But what is the flavor? Now the flavor, when it comes to although this is a Venus-ruled new moon, I want to talk about Mars, because Mars is our doing, it's our drives and what we love to do. And this Mars is very much a Neptunian Mars. I talked about that in the monthly horoscopes, and this is all about a Neptunian vibe that we have with Mars as from now up until like the end of November, because Mars is squaring. Is it squaring? Yes, it's squaring Neptune the whole time. So I've been talking about be aware of what your actions are. Be just as aware as you can and follow that integrity, because if not, these are times to easy times to be misunderstood, to be doing the things that, sneaky and all of that. So you want to have the good vibes of Mars Neptune, which is being compassionate and having but instead, at the same time, having healthy boundaries, and so that you're not a doormat, so to speak, or doing something for the collective. Now, what is Venus doing? It's also interesting to know so this Mars-Neptune is for the whole period up until the end of November, but what is this new moon doing? So this new moon has an opposition with Jupiter. So that's the first thing, because the new moon is at 2 degrees of Libra and Jupiter is at 3 degrees of Aries. I'll double check this. Is it 3 degrees of Aries? Well, now, yes, it is at 3 degrees, 4 degrees, 3 degrees of Aries. So it's an opposition. So this new moon has a little bit more of a tendency, although in itself it's a very fair moon, it doesn't want to it's not super intense. It's not like Scorpio, for instance, or it doesn't want things to be too complicated, but it opposes Jupiter. So this is quite an emotional, you could say, new moon, because Jupiter expands whatever it touches. And although it is an opposition, so it always shows stress, even if it's Jupiter, because what is the risk here? And what do we need to take into consideration? It is overdoing, over-expanding. It's the manic state, so to speak, that we sometimes can have, right? Because we are enthusiastic, and I know these terms we tend to over use them, but what I'm trying to say in a negative way, this is the manic state, so to speak, you know, the moon and the sun, someone with a sun opposite Jupiter, although it might be in a very, very, you could say, timid, like the sign of Virgo, for instance, but it opposes Jupiter, the sun. Wow, it's like a Sagittarian or a Piscean, you know. It's like I see the sky is the limit, and I just I'm overly optimistic, so to speak. And I say that with a smile on my face because most people will feel that energy in a healthy way. But there are people where if they are not really conscious of this, of the energies, they could tap into that energy of the new moon opposing Jupiter and over expand. So being overly optimistic. And of course we all think that, being depressed is not good, but being overly optimistic is not good either, because then you don't see danger and you don't see the consequences, right? Then I'm going to buy myself a Lamborghini, then after I did that, I have a hangover, for instance, because I couldn't afford it. You see what I mean? That's also Jupiter, overly optimistic. Now, for most of us, this is going to be positive, because for most of us who are trying to do our best to be conscious, and for most of us who don't have these problems with boundaries, and I say most of us because I really stress on this, because nowadays on YouTube there are so many good videos, but I find often that people talk about these states of mania and so on like it's normal, but it's not. It's still a more tiny percentage of people who go through those phases of going over the top. But this video is to warn you, not to warn you, but to show you what the energies are so that we are aware. And when you are aware, you just have more power. That's it, right? So grandiosity is definitely in the air, but there's also a good side of that. If you know that this is happening and you are a bit afraid, for instance, let's say you're single and you are afraid to meet, to talk to someone that you fancy, this energy can just help you to have that confidence, because Jupiter is about confidence as well, certainly with the opposition to the sun. It can give you that push to do what you are afraid to do, especially in Aries. So let's use this energy in our advantage. Where is it for you that you are a little bit afraid when it comes to relationships? Because in general, this is about relationships, where you want to express yourself, the sun, but also where you want to feel, which is the moon. And I mean, the moon with Jupiter is all about, I feel nurtured, I feel understood, I feel safe. So let's use it in our advantage, and then it can be a wonderful aspect. So it's definitely not a bad new moon at all. I mean, we have had worse lately. So I really want you to take advantage of that beautiful flamboyant vibe without crossing your own personal boundaries. That's the key here. But again, right, I was talking about this Neptunian Mars, so we have to watch out for our intention. We already know that. And this this new moon is ruled by Venus, because the ruler of Libra is Venus. Now Venus, where is it? Let's have a look at what is going on with Venus. Now, just the day before this new moon, Venus opposes Neptune, so in Virgo. So again, it's not only Mars that's having those Neptunian vibes, it's also Venus that has these Neptunian vibes. Again, Neptune is not bad, Neptune is not good. I really dislike it when people are trying to say, oh, this is a good planet, this is bad. It doesn't work that way. We have control how to perceive it and how to make the best out of it or the worst out of it. We do have some control there. Now, so this is important, Venus is in Virgo, so it's not in the best place because it's Venus in Virgo. Again, it's it wants things to be perfect. It is a bit and the nitty gritty, you know. It wants things to analyze. So that could be a good thing when you need to do analyzing at work or whatever. Venus in Virgo is really the detail is in the devil is in the detail. The detail is in the devil. Oh. Anyway, the devil is in the detail. That is really Venus in Virgo, and so we are all feeling that energy of the Virgo energy. You know, it's the timing of cleaning up and making sure that everything is in order and has its place, and that we discern. But that's the thing. With Venus opposite Neptune, she's not able to discern. Not at all. Not during this period. So, but forearmed is forewarned, or forewarned is forearmed. I have trouble with expressions today. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is Venus is a little bit la la land at the moment. Is that bad? No, it is what it is. Again, it's energy. It is what it is, but we can make the most out of it, and we can say, look, Venus just opposed Neptune. Venus is going to touch the Mercury retrograde because it's very close to it. So it shows conversations here. With Venus, it's about love, it's beauty, it's about finances, could be that as well. So there's going to be a lot of conversations around that. Information that reveals itself, absolutely, especially because it just had that opposition with Neptune, which is about illusions or things coming out that, that we are saying, how could that happen? Because we were in La La Land, right? But again, when you know that this energy is coming, you can prepare yourself for the best. You can just, when you are in a relationship, say like, look, let's go to the movies, for instance, very Neptunian thing to do. And let's indulge in this energy in this expansive energy of Venus wanting to be super romantic, right? Who still believes that, yes, there are men out there riding on a white horse. Or a man that still believes, yes, there is some angels amongst women. You know, that thing, you can do good things with that as well, just enjoying the moment, having a romantic dinner or whatever it is for you. That so it's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as you know that, hey, it's just a romantic sphere today and tomorrow. And actually it's not today and tomorrow, it's a bit more up until the first week of October. So this energy starts from now. As I speak, Venus is approaching this Neptune, opposing it. And up until the first week of October, you could say, enjoy it, rather than don't fall for the pitfall, which is like, I fancy this person, but this person is, for instance, married or at the other side of the world, or drinking a lot, maybe 2 bottles of whiskey a day. And that is the negative side of Venus opposite Neptune. You just fall for something that is unavailable. And so you don't want to go there because that is painful. So again, it's how you direct that energy. We all have power. We all have strength in that. So use it. And, but I think because Venus went through so many aspects already. So it started with Venus squaring Mars on the 15th of September already. There was like this tension. In a good way, that is passion. In a negative way, it's tension between men and women. You know, Venus square Mars. Or you could say the male energy and the yin energy and the yang energy. And then there was the trine to Uranus. So it's on the 19th. So it restored itself with doing things unexpectedly and enjoying that. And then now this Mercury will oppose Neptune. You know what to do now with the Venus opposing Neptune. And then it's going, you know, also kissing and approaching Mercury. It's already, you already feel that now. You know, Venus Mercury is one of my favorite aspects because it's very, and certainly, you know, in Virgo, they will tend to want to know every single detail. So it's really a conversation here that is about the devil is in the detail. Absolutely. So, but that can be a good thing and it can be not so good thing. It depends on your story and how you use it as well. Now, but after this new moon, Venus trines Pluto. So that is powerful. That is powerful. Right after the new moon, Venus trines Pluto. Isn't that amazing? And so what does that mean? It means strengthening, because you can make changes in the relationships, and it's not light changes, it's changes that demand courage, right? It's changes that demand those so I think a lot of people will have some really important conversations, and you can't put it under the table, or how do you say it, under the carpet, you know, the things that we want to talk about. So be aware of that. Key here is, again, with all this Neptune energy, key here is make sure that you don't have a hidden agenda. I mean, if you don't exude that, you can't go wrong. And even if it comes to you, that Neptunian energy in a negative way, you will see it. And you could say, no, thank you very much. And you can do like in the Tai Chi, which is also, I associate that with Neptune. You could do, thank you very much. And you just let it pass, right? So, can you believe that I used to do that, you know, martial arts? No one believes me, but I did. Anyway, I'm digressing. I did that for a year. Can you believe it? It did give me those insights though, right? This example that I'm giving you is because of that practice. Anyway, I'm just really self-focused at the moment, and I'm self-aware as well, but I'm just want to make these videos a bit light. And because I find that a lot of times when people want to know about astrology, they have fear. And I don't want you to be fearful when you're watching an astrology video. I want you to be content. I want you to say, look, what's going on? And I can deal with it. That's the vibe I'm exuding, and I try to exude. Anyway, so let's get started and have a look. Is there something else that I need to say? I don't think so in general. Nope. Okay, let's dig into the signs. Aries people, super important for you, especially if you've got Aries planets between 0 and 10 degrees. You will feel this the most. Your Jupiter, I don't know. My talking is a bit weird at the moment. But anyway, Aries is Jupiter is there. So that expansion, you've got Jupiter in your sign, which is amazing. I love it for the Aries people because they need it. If you've got energy in your chart, like I do, we need a little bit of action. We need a little bit of buoyancy in our lives. And this is available for you. So everything that I said in the beginning is applicable for you in your relationships, because this new moon is happening in your relationship sector, in your 7th house of relationships. So somewhat that there is, if you are in a relationship, there is a new phase, absolutely. So for better or for worse, depending on your story. If you are single, it could mean a new relationship. And that is because you trust yourself more. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that a beautiful thing? Now the ruler of this new moon is in the 6th house. So Venus with Mercury in your 6th house of your day-to-day routine. So make sure that you spend some time in improving those day-to-day routines, your health, and it's the little things, right? It's the Virgo house. It's about those little things. And if you're having your routines, if you're having that stability, you are going to enjoy so much these new energies that are going on for you in your relationship sector. So yes, there is a new beginning for you when it comes to your relationships, but it is because you have more belief in yourself. Taurians. For Taurians, this is not the most important new moon, but it's happening in your 6th house. So this new moon is all about endings and new beginnings around work, around your day-to-day routines, around what you do to stay healthy, mentally or physically. So you can have some new beginnings there. Also at work, there are chances for a new beginning, and your relationships there are very important. So when you focus on that, on the relationship between your boss, your colleagues, and so on, in a very healthy way, you will really have that optimism that Jupiter is in your 12th house, you know, it opposes that new moon. And this is all by like when it comes to feel nourished in a very invisible way almost. So the 12th house is where we relax, and there is this expansiveness in doing that, but also in the restoring of the balance between your day-to-day work, your day-to-day routines, and the relaxing energy. So if there has been a disbalance, you know, out of balance, disbalance, is that a word? You can restore that. Now the triggers are in your 5th house, because in a fellow earth sign, because it's Venus and Mercury that are coming together in your 5th house. So you could be having a very important love connections, but also conversations. So it depends on your situation. If you are in a relationship, it could mean during this time you're having a lot of conversations about love or about your children if you do have children. And so again, be aware of that hidden agenda energy that I was talking about. And this topic can prompt for you into new style of doing your life on a day-to-day basis, whether it is your work or your health. Gemini, I really like this new moon for you, because Gemini is a fellow air sign, and this is happening in the 5th house, which is one of my favorite houses. It's you know, it's a very light house, and you know, nowadays we can use that. And the 5th house is the house of your children, if you have them. It's also the house of your projects that you want to do, that you want to create. It's a love house. It's actually the Leo house that is activated here. So it's also what you do for pleasure, whether it is going to a restaurant, whether it is sex, whether it is you having a great time with your friends at a cafe, whatever it is. There is some new start here in how you do all these things to enjoy yourself. And because this new moon energy is trining your energy, it's rather positive. Again, these are general horoscopes, but for you it's rather positive. So do something fun on that day. And it opposes Jupiter in the 11th. So you could be doing something with friends, and it could be rather expansive. So don't go over the top, right? And that's the only, you could say, warning. The ruler of it, Mercury and Venus, are in your 4th house, and that is an emotional house. It's literally your home. So you could be thinking, talking, sailing, buying, talking a lot about your home, or doing a lot of things on the home to beautify it. Therefore, with this energy, therefore it is very beautiful, and that can prompt you into having more fun, basically. Cancerians, this is the new moons and full moons are always important for you, because you are ruled by the moon, you know, the sign of Cancer. And this one is in particular a very important new moon for you when it comes to your home life and when it comes to your emotions. This is happening in the core of your horoscope, the 4th house, where the moon and the sun is. So that means endings and new beginnings in your family. It can mean for some of you a move. It can mean for some of you a change in how you deal with your own emotions. So some sort of an ending, how you deal with your emotions, and a new beginning, how you deal with your emotions. It opposes Jupiter in Aries in your 10th house. So there is like a restoring of energy between your home and between the work. So you could go a little bit over the top. I have to say it now with this, and you're a cardinal sign. So for you, it's in particular very important to know when you go over that top. Because Jupiter, it's nice, right, to have Jupiter in your 10th house, but with this configuration, it can mean that you want to expand too much, and therefore you're emotionally not in balance, and vice versa, You so it's all about the balance between home and work, and it's brought up to you by your 3rd house. Where Venus and Mercury is. So the 3rd house is a mental house. It's the house of short trips, so you could be doing a short trip. You could be traveling. You could be learning, teaching. If you have your own business, you could be doing a lot around your website, or you know, it's I associate the third house with a PR house, so you could be doing a lot around that as well. Whatever it is, it's going to be you're going to have some really, really interesting conversations, to say the least, because the third house is the house of communication, and it's where all this Mercury, Venus is going on. So it's going to be really applicable for you. The devil is in the detail for sure. But it's about restoring this balance. And it could also mean talking a lot about love. Mercury with Venus in the third. It's that what is on your, love is on your mind for sure. And you want to, it's like a cleanup here. And that prompts you into a new beginning on an emotional level, or on the level of being content with who you are. Leos, this is happening in your third house, and for Leos this is nice. I mean, Leo is a fire sign, Libra is an air sign. That goes well with each other. That we call a sextile. That is nice fluent energy. So this new moon for you in your third house of thinking can mean an ending, a new beginning of how you deal with certain relationships, that the relationships with your siblings, with your neighbors, actually a bit around the neighborhood, your connections there. There is an ending and a new beginning with this Libra energy. You want fairness there, and you can restore it here with this energy. On another level, it could mean an ending, a new beginning of a website, of when you have your own business. It's the PR house. So you could be trying to do new things here, and you do it in a very beautiful, balanced way, or you want to do that in that beautiful, balanced way, and that's the energy as well. Or it is about a new trip and that you're going to do, and it gives you a lot of peace and balance, and it's good for your relationships as well. So this opposes the ninth house, Jupiter. So there is a very big expansion when it comes to how you see knowledge, how you deal with communication, conversation, and so on. But this Venus, Mercury, so the ruler of this energy is of this new moon, is in your second house. So a lot of conversations around money, around self-worth, and around improving that. So this is a really, really nice energy for you if you use it this right way, and also to restore and to improve, because of that Mercury retrograde, your finances. And by not putting your head in the sand, by doing it really, really rational, and really, you know, the nitty-gritty Virgo energy there. Virgos, of course, it's important for you because the ruler of the moon, of the new moon, is in your sign. So the new moon itself happens in your second house. This is like an ending of a new and a new way of how you deal with your confidence, of how you deal with your resources. So it's a good time for you to pull out all the old clothes, or the old jewelry, or the old, I don't know, books, everything that you have and that is no longer serving you, to get rid of it, whether you sell it, whether you give it away. Maybe giving away is a good option with all this Neptunian energy. But anyway, it's what you feel good about. And when you're going to do that, there is like this new start of the new things that you're going to attract in your life are going to be so more you, and so more in balance, and so more powerful. So this is a confidence boost that the Virgos are getting, and I really, really like it because the ruler of this new moon is in your sign. So this Venus-Mercury conjunction that is happening, and also the Mercury retrograde, it is happening now for you in your sign. So this is all about you, dear Virgos. This is about you having epiphanies. This is about you trying to do your best to communicate as clear as you can, right? If you are a little bit like, I don't know how I have to say it, you know, try to focus on what is clear and how you are going to use that in order for you to convey a message. If you really have to give a message, Make sure that, you know, that integrity that I was talking about. Again, you can't go wrong then. If other people misinterpreted you, it is what it is, right? You can't control other people's minds, but you will not have even that desire to do so because of this Mercury in your first house and Venus. So when it's about you, and there's also self-love here with this Mercury and Venus in the first house, and typically with this new moon in your second house, it's a lot about what you think about yourself, and there is a restoration and a reassessment going on here. So make it for the better, although this opposes Jupiter in your 8th house. So there is like this fight going on between, I value myself, but I also need the value of other people. Don't we all? But it's about restoring this. It's about, yes, first, when I do value myself and others don't value me, I know who I am. It's all about that topic. I know it's a bit cheesy, but it's a lot about this for you Virgos. So make use of it to really deal with those interesting topics that can make your life so much easier. So be you especially Virgos, because you're having this Neptune energy as an opposition, be aware of other people. Don't put them on a pedestal. Don't do it. Don't put yourself on a pedestal either. But 9 chances out of 10, you won't be doing that. But be aware that don't fool yourself and why you are doing that. You know, this Jupiter in your 8th house can give you that deep psychological insight why you are putting people on a pedestal, or why you're having these issues, or some of you, some issues with self-worth. Where does it come from? And what are you doing there? And then you can restore it. First, you have to see it before you can restore it. So very deep stuff going on for you. I really, really like it. Librans, this is of course your new moon. Happy new moon for you. And of course, people who have a birthday around the 25th of September, this is in your solar return. So this dictates, you could say, a new start, and make use of it and do it in the most positive, constructive way, because this Venus and Mercury, the ruler of this new moon, is in your 12th house, which is not easy because the 12th house is such an unconscious house. So mind your blind spots and also your desires, because it's Venus there that is in the 12th house. So you could be desiring something that is unavailable for you, whatever it is. If it's a very shiny diamond or if it's a person, know what you're doing. Know what you're doing with this energy in your 12th house. This is also possible that you will be having dreams, and try to analyze them, write them down, and try to do that introspectiveness, because that's the good thing about Venus and Mercury in the 12th house. Be a little bit alone. That's not easy for a Libran, but do it. And I mean, an enjoyable time as being alone, so that you can introspect and analyze, because it's in Virgo, what is going on behind the scenes. And that's going to prompt you into a new start, how you see you, because this new moon is and especially when you've got planets around 0 to 10 degrees of Libra, it opposes Jupiter in the 7th house. There's definitely someone there for you that is expansive for you, that is giving you purpose, whoever it is, married or not married, or whoever this is. It's about a new beginning for you, and it's about a rebirth for sure. Scorpios, this is happening in your 12th house. So this new moon is all about the new beginning and a letting go for sure of old habits that were no longer serving you. I see the 12th house as like our inherited, you could say karmic kind of all the karma that is there that we didn't, that it's the unconsciousness, right, that we didn't deal with yet. Now you as a Scorpio, you know about this. I mean, your new ruler is Pluto and your ancient ruler is Mars. You know all about this, but it's about applying this in a very positive way, which is seeing that there could be a pattern. It's a karmic pattern that you're releasing. And it has to do with relationships because it's in Libra. It could have to do with your friendships as well, because the ruler, Venus and Mercury, so the ruler of the new moon is in your 11th house of relationships with friends and in associations or your goals. So Venus and Mercury here. So you could be, let's say you're single and there is a friend of yours that, you know, it could be something that is flourishing here with all this Neptune stuff. Romantic stuff. Again, be real here and be realistic. And I don't have to say that to a Scorpio because they know. But it could mean that there is something happening amongst a friend. It could be falling in love with a friend. And again, depending on your situation and on your story, be aware of these old patterns that you have with relationships. Are they healthy or not? It's a time now to clear them, those unhealthy patterns. And it opposes Jupiter in your 6th house. So it can be very good for you and purposeful for your day-to-day routines, for the work that you do, literally your work, but also the day-to-day things that you do to stay healthy, to stay grounded as well. Sagittarians, I love this new moon for you because Sagittarius is a fire sign. Libra is an air sign. That goes well with each other. It's called a sextile in astrology. And there is an ending and a new beginning in the house of relationships with friends and also in the house of your goals. And it could mean an old goal, it's not serving you, I'm getting a new one. It could mean friends that are going. It could mean new stages that are going on here in the friendship zone, whether that is like they were friends and they're something else now, or just a new friendship that has a knock-on effect on your career. It is related here. So it could be that you're networking and because of that there's a new beginning starting here that has a knock-on effect on your work. And why is that? Because Venus and Mercury, Venus, the ruler of this new moon, is in the 10th house. So there is a lot of thinking about relationships and when it comes to your work, and also thinking about how you can improve your work so that you love your work more, right? Venus and Mercury going backwards and all of that. But that could also mean that someone at work, a Venusian person, but very smart, you know, it's Virgo after all, is helping you out with a new job. Could mean that as well, and so that you have a promotion. You know, that kind of energy, I really like it for you when you use it in the right way, which is in the non-negative Neptunian way, because remember, you're a mutable sign and Neptune is but Neptune is very important for you at this particular moment because it's in another mutable sign. And this opposition of Jupiter, you are in the 5th house. So you want to expand. You want to have more buoyancy. I mean, you are already a sign that loves that and that needs it as well. I mean, Sagittarians need to feel that fire. They are a fire sign. And when they are in the 5th house of self-expression, I mean, they're going to do stuff if they are not having it at the moment. So again, for you Sagittarians in particular, mind you of not going over the top. Especially with friends, you know, mind you, healthy boundaries is healthy friends. And but for some of you, it could mean an expansion. For some of you, it could really mean that there is something going on there in the friends sector that also the heart is very important about. But I think for most of you, this focus on this career side because you have such a beautiful energy now to improve that, okay? But that doesn't mean to say that you can't have your fun. Absolutely. Be buoyant, go out with friends. It's a huge fantastic time to go out with friends, to enjoy yourself, to be even active. You know, Jupiter in Aries in the 5th house, to be active with your friends for sure. Capricorns, this is happening in the 10th house. So this new moon is very important for you for your career, if you have it. If not, it's your social status or a parent. You know, that could be something, a new beginning, of a new phase in the life of your parents, or at work, in your career. So it could mean a new career, for instance, for some of you, but definitely a new way. Or also when it comes to your relationships in your career, that there is some novelty there. Now, it opposes Jupiter in your 4th house. So for you, it's a lot about balancing your finding more purpose there in your home life, and but also having the career and doing new stuff there. Now, the Venus, the ruler of this new moon, is in your 9th house with Mercury. So it could mean that you are traveling now, or you are studying, or you are teaching, or at the least reading something that prompts you into changes, into these very important areas of your life, which is career and the home. So certainly the ones who've got like the early Capricorns, 0 to 10 degrees, will really feel this, you know, this urge or neediness of trying to find a balance between work and home, trying to have a new beginning when it comes to your social status as well. So some of you are getting married, others are getting divorced, others are from having no children, having a child. All these things are so important for you, and it's a lot about your relationships here. Aquarians, this is fantastic for you. You are having a nice new moon. A lot of you Aquarians are having a hard time with Saturn in your sign. This is a bit of a relief here with the new moon, because it's in a fellow air sign of Libra in your 9th house, which is the house of learning, teaching, traveling, reading, going to a cultural event, studying, reading a book about philosophy, astrology, whatever, that gives you that higher picture mind and that helicopter view that you see that everything is connected. You know, it's divinity, you could say, and you understanding that more. So there is a new beginning, an ending of an old belief that you had, and a new beginning. I mean, this could mean like, oh yeah, that's not so important. It's super important because it's such a positive, underestimated house. The 9th house is my favorite house. I've got 4 planets in my 9th house, and so I'm very biased, of course. But the thing is that if you do it right in that, and balance, because it's in Libra, in that 9th house, it has a knock-on effect on all the rest of your horoscope, because it's all about perspective. The purer your perspective is, and the more you can expand that, the more you see. Also, you are strengthening the choices that you have to make, because you're seeing more. You're having a higher perspective. It's like when someone is standing on a point that is higher, you have a better overview of everything that is connected with each other. And you're not like in that tunnel vision. So that is amazing for you. Yes, it does oppose Jupiter in your 3rd house. So you could be clashing with some you know, old beliefs and new beliefs, and how you want to expand on a day-to-day level with understanding of communication. So mind your communication for sure, of not going over the top. And this Venus Mercury in your 8th house is definitely about a psychological understanding of self. So if you have been tackling things like 8th house stuff, deep 8th house stuff, fears, imaginative fears, all these things, you have an opportunity here to battle that and to understand it better, because you are getting to the root of the matter. You know, these details, you are understanding them, and you are doing this effort, and therefore you have this new beginning of a belief system, right? You might always have believed, for instance, that let's say a simple example that, oh, you have to work until you sweat, and then you're good enough, right? Maybe now you're saying, I also have to take care of me, you know. Or the other thing around, maybe you never work, you're super lazy, for instance, you never ever work, and now you find out, oh, but I did the work there, and it gave me a little bit of confidence, or it gave a build-up in my confidence. I like it. So yeah, it's good for me. All that kind of thing. And that has a whole knock-on effect on your whole chart. And last but not least, Pisceans. This is a very emotional new moon for you. Why? Because it's in your 8th house. It's a fellow water house, and a new beginning there can mean a death and a rebirth of some deep psychological stuff. It's also like, you could say, going through the fear of barrier, and because of that, and it's relationship oriented here, right? Because the ruler of this new moon is in Virgo in your 7th house of relationships. So this is all about relationships for you. And there needs to be a reassessment here with your relationships. It's a lot about what you focus on becomes bigger. So if you focus on the negative things in a relationship, of course, I don't want you to put your head in the sand and to say, yeah, it's all good. But it's a lot about reassessing your relationships. And with Venus, Mercury there in the 7th house, going backwards and forwards, wow, you're going to have some conversations around love for sure, whether you are single or not. And there could be someone that is really eye-catching, that is probably very beautiful and attractive, Venus, and also very smart. What a nice combination for you. Good for you, dear Pisceans, with the Venus, Mercury there in the 7th house. But even if you are in a relationship, this could simply mean that a lot needs to be talked about here, and it's about the devil is in the detail for you, right? And it can come up, and again with this Neptune in your 1st house, don't fool yourself is very important here. Don't fool yourself, and be very, very honest with yourself around who you are. And if you don't know, look in the mirror and look at what the rest of your environment is saying to you. So what are other people saying? Instead of dismissing it, just, you don't have to take it, but kind of sit with it is basically what can help you to improve your connections. And that's going to give you this death and rebirth, right? It's a lot about this Neptunian vibe that I was talking about. You Neptunian ruled people can deal in a good way with that as the best, when it comes to compassion, understanding, empathy, and so on. But this is also about your boundaries, and this can only be it's like a protection here that I'm seeing that is going on. You have to protect that empathy thing that you have, because it's all good and well, and you could say, oh, I'm empathic and blah blah blah, but when you're not discerning, it is crisis basically. And that was this 8th house. I'm not laughing with you, but it's really about finding clarity in these things. And the 8th house is like a deep psychological insight that you're having around your relationships that you've been dealing with. And it's about your shadow as well. Know your shadow. Know that if you're the typical Piscean, I know Pisceans who have like a moon in Aries, and you don't even notice that they are Pisceans. Really, it depends on your whole chart. But the typical Piscean is more the empathic, is more the people pleaser, is more the I am with you one, rather than the Virgo that is more like, oh, you are you, I am myself, and so on. So it's all about understanding those patterns better, and because you understand that pattern better, it can save you a lot of misery. And so new insights for you for sure. And the not fooling is here, that the victim role. That was I'm not saying that all Pisceans are victims, not at all, not at all. But it's about knowing thyself, that sometimes we say, yeah, I'm empathic and da-da-da-da. But actually it's also a manipulative state that one can be in because you want to be valued by that other person in the 7th house, where Venus and Mercury is. Venus in the 7th house means that you want to please, for sure. It's not always that you're going to attract a person. It's that you want to please, you want to be seen. And that is dangerous, because you open the door for abuse if you do that. And if you're not aware of it, that's the biggest risk. But now you are. So it's also up to you now to deal with it. But what I wanted to say is that that manipulative, that it is often misunderstood. People who are a victim or say that they are a victim. I'm a victim, it's da 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 da. It's also very manipulative. So you want to be mindful of that. And also of other people. Or it's either you doing this or other people are doing it and now you will see it. So it's not about judging here. It's about, oh, I'm seeing it in myself here. I must say, like, everyone can manipulate. Absolutely. I must say, when it comes to me, it's sometimes that my partner knows it in advance that I'm already trying to manipulate him. I mean, I say that with a smile on my face. Sometimes we don't know. We are doing it without even knowing it. But here, it's very dangerous to do so. So, knowledge. And I hope this video have given you some knowledge. And that's the purpose of these videos. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a very good new moon in Libra, and all the best to you. Bye bye. See you next time.